everyone, I welcome you all to the second video of 22nd module on consultation working with parents as an integral part of school counseling. The learning objective of this video would be to identify the challenges faced by today's children and what parents can do to help them. Now let us see the common challenges seen in students. The first one is quality time. One of the challenges that children face from parents is scarcity of time. Parents have to usually manage the time between surplus of duties like completing office work and household chores, where parents find it difficult to reserve time for their children. For the healthy growth and development of children, parents need to spend quality time with their children. It encourages children to discuss the problems they may be having. If this is compromised, it can lead to children facing a lot of emotional disturbances. The second one is breakdown of family bond. Family bonding times are a great way to impart values like empathy, common hobbies, affection and accommodation. If family members have separate lives at home, it can lead to a lot of things being untold and can lead to damaged family relationships. Lack of conversation between parents and children may lead to erosion of bonding, and children might totally rely on friends for any issues and have confidence in them. In turn, what a family truly comprises of may not be realized. This may also lead to dependency and attachment with others, which could further add on to many other problems. Children who have good family bonding learn to value one another and are less likely to hurt others. Now let us see some of the ways to have good family bond. Plan a family trip. Plan to have a meal together. A lot of things can be shared over a meal. Playing games, performing exercise can be a part of family fun. At home, parents can ask children to help them with some household work and make a game of it. Take a walk together. It can be a great stress reliever as well. And most importantly, try to read together. Emotional distress. Emotional distress has a negative impact on the emotional well-being. When parents are not available at home, children may find difficulty in sharing their feelings about their day. They might get badly hurt when their parents don't pay attention to their concerns or problems. Such children may feel they are not given importance and affection by their parents and prone to have many issues. Also, blaming tendency in the family makes them more vulnerable to emotional distress. It also creates feelings of insecurity and uncertainty, lack of trust and low self-esteem. Now let us see the next point, which is poor performance in studies. A student's performance in studies also relies upon other aspects like social and emotional well-being, which in turn takes parents' involvement in their studies. When it comes to Indian parents, they often let their children to coaching classes as they themselves may be hectic at work. However, research shows that for students whose parents have actively been involved with their studies, homework from their primary classes often mature well in life. Next one is addiction on social media. Lack of attention from their parents can often cause children to look for other forms of entertainment to escape their loneliness, and these include social media. Such children may be spending their time more on phones or other electronic gadgets rather than spending productively for physical or mental development. This may lead to have poor empathetic skills, poor socialization, that is, the inability to make small talks and listen, and they prefer isolation. Next one is being argumentative or oppositional. This is one of the common problems that happens when child is trying to take control of his or her life. It could also be a manifestation of poor parenting style. Importantly, to be noted here is if it's a pattern that prevails in the family as children learn or model from their parents. Therefore, parenting style plays a crucial role in a student's overall development. Authoritative parents who encourage children to be responsible, to think for themselves, and to consider the reasons for rules, this type of parenting style has proven to be associated with utilizing potentials, getting better grades, have high aspirations, and establishing healthy relationship with others like peer group and professional figures. Also, it has demonstrated lower rates of behavioral and adjustment related problems such as substance dependence, attachment issues, emotional dysregulation, and oppositional behavior, and so on. Authoritarian parents who insist on their orders to be obeyed without question and rely on punishment or a threat of punishment or to control. Permissive parents who are responsive but also reluctant to enforce rules. Uninvolved parents who do not provide much emotional support to their children and fail to enforce standards of conduct. Authoritarian, permissive, and uninvolved parenting styles have been linked to inferior outcomes such as declined academic achievement and increased problems like teasing or hurting others, being argumentative, absenteeism, and dropout. Now let us see about frequent tantrums. Parents and teachers to some extent agree that children tend to show tantrums on and off. Indeed, older children, even teenagers, engage in tantrums but are a bit more sophisticated in their approach like name calling, yelling, slamming doors, and so on. At home, there are many circumstances where tantrums are likely to occur highly. Outside home, to add to parents' worry, tantrums will possibly occur in community places such as restaurants, grocery stores, playground, etc. Tantrums usually occur when children do not have daily routine or when they do not have the skills needed to meet adult expectations or when they are expected to perform different activity without warning. Children also show tantrums of face problems because they lack certain skills. At schools, situations such as transition like change of class, change of school or course, mingling with other children, being strictly instructed to do a task may often trigger a tantrum. To note down, children may often show temper tantrums to vent out their frustration. Now let us see about self-harming behavior. Self-harming behavior is one of the most difficult and challenging one that parents, administrators, teachers and counseling staff face in the school setup. Such self-harming behavior is not a new occurrence among young children. These behaviors could also be a manifestation of an underlying mental or emotional disturbance. Most self-harming adolescents use this behavior as a coping strategy to get immediate relief from emotional distress. Several stressors play a main role in self-harming behavior among adolescents. Some of the self-harming behavior occur due to fear or anxiety. Fears related to exam, performance, social image, getting admission in a good college, fear of future, and so on. Many adolescents who have shown deliberate self-harming behavior have trouble in handling their emotions like anxiety, depression, and anger. Sometimes they are unable to regulate their emotions, probably due to repetitive invalidation of their feelings by their parents. Substance abuse. Students may get highly influenced by peer pressure and are more vulnerable to get into substance use disorders. This in turn might lead to problems like drop in grades, absenteeism from school, lack of interest in activities, risky sexual behaviors, poor relationship with family and friends, accidents, anxiety, depression, and also other mental health problems. Now let us see how to handle these problems. School in charge must be aware of students' common problems. They need to have an understanding of the common causes, signs, and symptoms. After the referral made to the school counseling staff member, the counselor is required to determine if the counseling can be done in the school campus itself individually or if parent involvement is needed. If needed, it has to be done by collaborating with his or her parent and the student by getting their mutual consent. The school can give individual or peer counseling program based on the need, consent of the student and parent. How to increase parent consultation or involvement in school? Having parent-teacher committee provide opportunity for parents to engage in school and class activities by giving parents a common contact information so that they feel comfortable to reach out, trying to connect with parents in person as much as possible using emails, texts or apps to keep up updated on things like student remarks, upcoming class events and so on, by sharing classroom targets or expectations freely with parents and suggesting them to do the same, by addressing common challenges faced by the parent and the teacher. In this video, we have seen the challenges faced by the students and children and how parents' involvement can help to face the challenges. In the next video, we will see about the benefits of parent consultation in school counseling and the application of resilience-focused paradigm to promote overall well-being of children. Thank you.